everyone, welcome to NoCode Tech. My name is Laura, I am NoCode Tech's content lead, and today I'm here with Karla Fernandes. So for those of you guys who don't know who Karla Fernandes is, she's actually a Bravo expert, and if you follow us on social media or in Bravo's social media, you might have watched a video in which she actually launched 5 apps in 4 months. So because we're very passionate about no-code tools, we actually wanted to bring someone in who really believes in building apps with no code. So welcome, Karla.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here.
So can you tell us a bit about your background and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a designer for 25 years now. I'm a very generalistic person, so I decided to embrace it. And I came through from graphic design to web design to UI design, and then later on UX design. And it really felt like a ladder, right? And it was very natural to end up with a digital product design and the product management. I have been working the last 15 years as a freelancer, mostly as a freelancer. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Nice. That is actually very interesting. The fact that you say you started with craft design, how it just went as a ladder, which I feel like a lot of professionals in the field that, for example, have no idea about programming or anything, but actually started being architects. And from that, they started building their own tools to create apps, like it would be like a Adalo or any of those. So that's quite interesting to see how progression within any field can actually happen.
For that matter, I even graduated actually in interior design. So I ended up not doing university in graphics or industrial design at the time because I saw that there were no reason for it. So why would I do a university for 4 years to deliver in the end of the university like a TCC or something that would be building something that I was doing daily already. So I then decided, okay, you know what, I am doing something related to design, but not exactly industrial design or graphic design.
That's very cool. So when did you find out about the no-code space and what was your initial experience like?
So I believe my first experience with no-code was WordPress, and probably this is the tool that many of the people out there have used. So it was around 2004 that I have done the first website using WordPress. And at that time, WordPress was very rudimentary, and you had a lot of things kind of breaking, I would say. So it was not as good as it is right now, but it was much better than creating HTML and CSS and creating your own website from zero. So, you either would get that or just kind of try over. So
do you feel that at the time, maybe your transition into the no-code space was easier? Or was it more difficult, just wing it, try one here, try one there?
So I think it was very natural too, because, since I was working with design, what happened was that my customers were having problem with their developers. And when WordPress came around, I saw as an opportunity. So, okay, I have a bunch of customers which I am delivering design and they are having problem with the development team. So if I also learn how to do the websites in this part, I could take over and then they would just need to deal with me. And that was a very good choice, because when I did that, then I actually had customers just not for the design, but also for the development.
That's amazing. Okay, so in that case, can you actually tell us a bit more about your business and how it works, what you do, and are you working on anything interesting right now?
So right now I am at this moment mentoring. So I mentor UI UX designers to become designers, right? So after the graduation, they know a little bit how they will be their day, how they will interact with others in the team, how they will collaborate. And also I teach them the whole process in the design thinking, right? And I work as a freelancer for ID now, and I would say that it's a very interesting challenge for me because I have never worked with verification platform before, and there we create a kind of a solution for you to verify yourself in order to get maybe a bank account or rent a car or something on the comfort of your home. So it's a very interesting challenge to do this digital verifications, like where you put your ID card and then check your face with the ID card and then see if that's really you. And yeah, it's quite interesting.
To be honest, it's quite the future now, though. I mean, I feel like everything now with all these like security and so much access to your information and so many apps being created and stuff being done, I think a lot of people sometimes are scared of using kind of maybe more indie new apps because of that. I guess of security and like access, like can I be uploading all my documents to here?
Yeah, and with GPDR in Europe, that's also a big thing, right? Like everything's about like product data privacy. If you delete something from the user, if that will be there forever. If they want to remove just their face from a huge photo with 200 people, they should be able to. So there are a lot of little things that you have to take into account when taking over privacy.
So talking about challenges and your schedule, and I know there's already a YouTube video out there. How did the idea, considering all this, come about of launching 5 apps in such a short period of time?
So it wasn't really an idea. It was more like the moment. I learned about Bravo, and I kept it in my wish list. You know, when you learn about something and you put there on your bookmark, and then you keep looking at this over and over and say like, okay, you know, not now, not now, not now. So I was kind of procrastinating on it. And then I was doing a course from Brian Tracy that probably, you know, it's called Eat That Frog. And he said something that really touched me, that was like, you know, if you have the time, if you haven't done it, it's because it's not your priority.
Exactly.
And when I heard that, I was like, oh, I really need to be more true to myself. And that's so honest. And then I decided, you know what, that's the time. This is something I want to do for years. So I had I had something practically planned already, like illustrations, the content for my first app for 10 years. When I tried to, 10 years ago, tried to build that using iOS, like a Swift, right? It was iOS 1. And when I actually learned some of the things that I needed to learn in order to program that, they launched iOS 2 and everything was kind of lost. So I was so frustrated with it. And then I never touched it again, but I kept the files too, you know. I was like, okay, this content's done. Maybe one day, maybe one day. So when I saw Bravo, that was the one day. And in the end of the year, most of the years I take 1 month free for myself, since I'm mostly doing freelance, to study. And that was something I really wanted to do. And then I decided, you know what, that's the time. So I will do it now, and I will start with this app. Because if I do that, I will feel that I have accomplished something. And if it has been on the list for 10 years, I think it's very cool when you take something that is like there just on the side and just take over. So yeah, it was like this. And then the other apps just happened naturally because I needed to learn more features that Bravo were able to do. So deal with what were like the constraints. And so that was why I end up doing so much in so little time, because I got very excited putting things out there, just publishing it. And yeah, I kept studying.
So how flexible is Bravo to achieve or build all the apps that you did, and what's the learning curve like?
I would say that for a designer with a background design, like we've maybe have learned Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop, or even do some XD, or already know Figma, that's 6 years old, you are 70% there already. So it's really minimal learning curve. It's really about you teaching yourself a little, it's not even a logic, we called it Bravo tags. So it's a little title that you put in your frames, and it's really easy. it's really about you studying. So if you are not a designer, it will be a little bit more complicated because then you have to learn Figma or Adobe XD, but it's not something from other world.
I mean, to be honest, a lot of no-code apps, I mean, I think that's where the merge came from, which is you would have your developer and your designer, and then, you know, the people in between, which is entrepreneurs that are not, you're not a developer and you're not a designer and you want to build something. But I feel like designers were missing that tool that said, you know, I can actually do this myself. And not even, because I know Bravo, they like to, which is a very big thing with designers, they don't just like to kind of label themselves as you can publish an app, but it's more like I can show you a prototype of 5 different apps tomorrow.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Yes, I agree.
So then if you had to describe Bravo in 3 words, what would it be?
I would say that it's easy, it's practical, and it's also robust, because like that's what it is.
Have you used other app builders in the market?
Yeah. So when I was to decide if I was really jumping in on this quest, I decided to do some, do some research and see what was out there. And I still went to Bravo exactly because of the design part, because Bravo really allows you to create the design of your dreams, right? And put that into practice. Most of the apps out there, like the other builders, they actually have constraints into questions of design. So you may have components that are already done, and that you may have other things like logic or that are interesting, but you are not allowed to change everything. So the app might not look how you want it to look. And since I'm a designer and that was very important to me, there were no question where to go.
I guess I was gonna ask if you think Bravo has changed a bit the game for designers in the market, but I guess we kind of we answered ourselves in the case that it has, because it's just filled that gap.
It does. And you know, like I even think that it's a step further. If you are a designer, you should start looking to this as soon as it's possible, because this might be the only thing that you differentiate you from another designer on a job interview soon. You know, because there are a bunch of designers out there. How do you really, you know, stand out?
Portfolio.
Yeah.
That is so true. Right. So I'm always quite interested in the sense of what is popular and what isn't, because we've just launched university and we have people coming, you know, us saying, oh, I want to build this app, I want to build this app. And you go from being a directory of tools to now teaching people actually how to build. So I'm in a crossroads now where I'm actually really interested to see like what is actually not in, but what is popular, like what are people really building now? So when in your business, what are people coming to you for? Like what type of apps are more popular right now?
I would say that there is no topic that's very popular right now, because that's very particular, right? Like from the company, they might try to be solving a niche problem or so, but I would say that popular right now in the app world, everyone, like a social media is the boom of things, right? So like just recently we got 2 new ones that when we thought that there were no space anymore for it, so Clubhouse came just doing an app for audio that was simple enough. And also TikTok just did a YouTube, but for fun videos, like mostly fun videos, or that you can even choose what is the topic and they are very short. So I think everyone has the power to think about something different, maybe how much sun and water your plants need, or things that you want.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You know.
So what's the most exciting for you as a designer? What was the most exciting app for you to like help build so far that you can remember at the top of your head?
Mm-hmm. So that I have built with NoCode, I would say that was my first, because you know it was a project that was there just not anywhere else. Nobody knew about it, and now it's out there in the world. That's the ScarfApp. But like interesting and very utilitarian for the world, I would say that would be UX Events Weekly, because that is something that you know, it's helping other designers to get in touch with this design world with free events, and I think that's very important to the community.
That's amazing. Well, we're definitely going to tag that below for everyone to see that later. So how far can you go building without code?
So yeah, if you think that your app, you take some logic, that you have some workarounds with tools like AutoCode and Integromat, but it starts to be a little bit more complex, right? You need a bit more complex structure, and some of the interactions and content driven, like when you have several users using it, and for each of them you have specific content, things get on this way where logic is. So it really depends on what you are building, but I would say that the logic, it's still the biggest problem.
Okay, so because you're very involved in the whole app building, where do you think, when looking at no-code tools, where do you think, you know, they've hit the nail in the head, and where do you think they're still falling short?
So in no-code tools in general, I think right now you can do so much, and you know, there is so much out there. Like there are CSS frameworks to help you with that. There are JS libraries, frameworks too, and you can reuse things. So everything that you can reuse, people are turning to no-code tools. Everything that's used over and over and over, there is no reason for someone come in and just reinvent the wheel. So there are tools for every single of those things that you are repetitively doing. And things that they are far, I would say that it really depends on what you are trying to build, because there are a lot of ways to build everything. So I would say that usability, or maybe like how to learn use the tools. For example, Wix is it's a website platform that you can do things, drag and drop and so on. I am a designer. I use those kind of tools every day. It was hard for me. Like maybe it wasn't hard for someone that's 20, but maybe I'm too old. But I thought that usability wasn't the best. So, you know, in contrary, Webflow, it's huge and quite complex too, and it can also take some time for you to learn.
No,
so you know, it's pros and cons, and you also have to decide which tools you want to use and learn.
That is something that when teaching students, that's something that we take very seriously as kind of our way of working, which is think about what you want to build, do your research, and then choose a tool that will fit your project, not the other way around. Because I feel like so many people jump into any random tool and try to build a project, and halfway through the whole thing they will say, I have just lost 2 months worth of work, and this tool is not gonna give me that functionality, like that key functionality that I need. So I feel like research is very important, and actually trying to really learn and understand really what it is that you want to do. So I guess with programming, you can just give that homework to someone else and they will just write it down for you and they'll just create it. Whereas with no code, maybe you need more of that homework and that research.
Yeah.
So, and now tying to that, and with your crafts background, all this kind of thing, what do you think no code is teaching transferable skills, and we are entering a new generation of workers and designers?
So I think it's not that it's really a transferable skill, but I would say that that is a great way to start, right? Like when I was 18, I knew already what I wanted to be, and I was working already with design, right? Mm-hmm. But many people at my age didn't have any idea of what they would do. So right now with those no-code tools, you can try it out. You know, you can start simple. You don't need to learn Photoshop that's so complex. You can learn Canva. You can learn how to build things and say like, okay, I have an eye for design. I want to do more. So, and then you go slowly, and then you know that that's for you. So I think it gives you the possibility to try more, and also to not just be inside the box with all the professions that are out there. I think that's something interesting for you to, you know, just try. If you like it, go further. If you don't, change it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, before I started this job, I didn't think I was analytical. I found out the other day that I was, because with working with so much like workflows and database and stuff, I found myself thinking in that way. I'd always thought that way, but I was actually putting it onto actual, you know, thought to process on paper. And my boss and I over the day, he said, I think you are actually analytical. So I said, yeah, maybe I am. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are also, I don't know if you know about this or if you do that yourself, but a lot of people are implementing no-code tools into their actual jobs. So I think that it gives them an authority and a liberty to actually, you know, I'm going to manage my own department because I've got the tools now to actually manage it. You don't need someone over you to program this or design it for you. You can just say, I have an idea and I'm going to, like the finance department, I think I want to do this and that because I think this process is going to be so much better. And then you just build it. It might take longer, but I think it gives people, like you said, the freedom to think creatively and to implement more of that authority into their day-to-day lives and say, you know, I don't need someone to do this for me. I actually designed for my mom. My first app was a family organizer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because there's 7 of us at home, and I said to her, I think you could use, you know, no code. And I said to her, what do you need? And she said, I need this, this, and that. And the 2 of us sat down and I said, this is how you do it. And she has a family organizer app now.
You see, that's great. And I'm sure, like, I even have a case also of a friend of mine that was working for a company and he was having so many troubles, and then he started doing automation of his routines, you know, and then instead of working 40 hours, he ended up working half of the time, and then told about this to his boss, and the boss loved it, of course, and then implemented to everyone. So they were working 1 day a week less because of that. So, you know, like there are a lot of things that can be automated using no-code tools. Like, tell me how much Excel has done for your life. Think of just of that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and so many tools actually use not Excel, but Google Sheets, which works.
That's the same, right? Like a Google Sheets, Excel, Airtable, just change the name, but it's in the essence, it's the same.
Yes, what you said, that you just recycle something that already exists, and then
Exactly.
you use it and you turn it into something else more useful or that works together.
Yes.
So in that case, what would you recommend to anyone that is keen on getting started with no code and they might just be a bit, you know, because we have a lot of users that they're like, I've been reading a little bit around, but I'm not ready yet. Like
so I would say it really depends on what you want to do, or maybe try everything and see what you like more, right? Like, so if you want to go for design, go see Canva. It's very simple. Or if you want to go to a tool that we are really using, go for Figma. And it's also no code. And as a designer, I'll have to say, like, I have just used no code tool after no code tool, right? Like, these are no code tools because we are not talking with development. And now they came, like a Bravo, for example, that brought a little bit of light into, yes, we can do it without development, which is also an amazing feeling. But you know, if you want to learn other things like a website, or go for Webflow or Wix or any other tool. So it really depends on what you want to achieve more than the tool itself, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, so in that case, I'm guessing you've made quite a few mistakes. So what would you have done differently had you known?
So if I would know, I would probably, I say, not surprise myself with what is so hard into creating an app. It's not really doing the app or developing it to try and test and so on, is to market it. That's so hard, and needs also so much effort, like for you to publishing it, going to a Google developer account, to a Apple developer account, and then doing all the assets, and then doing all the promotion, creating all the ads. It's so hard. That is just a job itself. That is something I would say that is the most difficult thing. Yeah, and as a good side, I wouldn't say that I didn't expect to be so fun.
Yeah, that is true. What are your thoughts on the NoCode movement and the community, and do you think it is the future NoCode?
So I believe that we are all makers, right? And right now we have the tools to put whatever we want out there. Like it's been an app, it's been a website, it's been an idea, like even if it's not digital. And we should start doing it and putting out there in the world something that we really want to build, that's close to our heart.
That's cute. Okay, well, thank you very much. Can you tell us where our users can find you?
Oh yeah, so many places. Yeah, I think you had the links there at this interview, but on LinkedIn, I think it's a good place for professional network. So add me on LinkedIn. There is also my portfolio, vitaminak.design, and there is also my program that I'm creating to mentor other people to also use no-code tools to create apps. That's called Bravo Mentor.
Nice. Be brave.
Yes, be brave.
Okay, so thank you so much, and I will catch you next time.
Yes, thank you.